Right, quick soundboard check.
How did I know you were going to go for that one? Testing the turtle.
Right, I need to remember how to share this link now.
The share button's usually a good place to start.
Share button, actually, that would be a very good place to start, wouldn't it? Funny story, Chris, was in America and I had Taylor Swift on in the car. And Miley goes, I can't believe you actually listened to this and sing along. I'm like, yeah, I've kind of made this a thing since we did Clocks's Farm Visit 1.
I know, but it's even after all these years, I said it at the time, I still can't wrap my head around. It's like there's Vassar. I don't know. He gives off the sort of rock and metal vibe, with like in California.
That's because that's my main jam.
Yeah, but then I remember in your video all those years ago, suddenly cuts to him singing and jamming to Taylor Swift in his Ford. I'm like,
that's right.
It's just so not what you'd imagine from Vassar at all.
Yeah, part of that was for comedy value, but it is true. I actually do rock out to Taylor.
All of us
Swiftie.
On today's show, Mark does his best turtle impersonation. Ian's got some croc-catching bin tips for you, and I am ready to bug the flock out. Welcome back to the Incensed Podcast, episode 214 for you all here today to hopefully enjoy. And it is the usual suspects. We have the Water Cascada man, Ian himself. We have Mr. Turtle and Cowman, Marky, in the house. And I'm your host today, being interrupted by Ian's left finger. Pogo Miley UK.
Here's my right one, actually.
Oh yeah, sorry, right finger index, I guess. So
you always said you like the right one.
Well, how could I not?
Exactly.
It's the best of your many digits. Anyway, moving swiftly on. It's good to be back, people. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you're having a smashing day wherever and whenever you are listening to this episode. But boys, how is it going?
Thank you for that, Mark. Well, actually, it's going pretty good. I've recovered from LA and priming myself for like a fortnight's time when we're in Milan.
It's so close.
It's
honestly
close.
So weird to think about. I mean, I know Mark is off the ceiling with excitement right now. Just to clarify, people, he is still quite unwell. He's sort of lost his voice, so that is all he can muster.
He's trying, bless him.
Consistency as well. Like, honestly, it's amazing. But no, Milan coming up for us all. And then, of course, there's a scattering of other ones. We've got Singapore, which some people are going to go to, Mumbai. Shout out to Daxi, who's going over there. And Santiago in Chile.
Oh, Chile.
Tony TM heading down that way.
To go to Chile, but
it would have been so
never
sick to go.
Been to Italy, so I'm looking forward to Milan.
Yeah, you've got to tick that box off first, dude. But we were looking at the good old hop-on, hop-off bus, of course.
Yes, €21. Book your tickets now.
It's a damn sight cheaper than LA. Oh, my days.
So much cheaper.
Honestly.
Especially when you book the correct ticket, because I booked the wrong one in LA.
Yes, you kind of did yourself
I paid like
$80,
whereas the rest of you paid 60.
Yeah, I know, but still $60. We can pay €21 and come onto the bus with an Aperol Spritz in hand. But yes, I think we should dive into the regular bits and pieces because boy, oh boy, have we got some good stuff for you in this show. There's a raid day that's going to be mentioned and many more things besides. But anyway, listeners.
Pop your incenses, champions. Let's go.
And of course, the reason we ask you to do that actually is because it's more likely to bring in a shiny Brooksish for you all. But if you do get anything awesome while dropping the incense and listening to the show, be it whatever format of the incense, there's like 4 of them these days, you can tag us across our socials, including X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. And of course, there's an email, contact@incensedpodcast.com, the campfire, the Discord, the WhatsApp number, which is +44 759 269 5696.
And that one's been busy this week, so all I'm going to say, Whitfield.
Oh, yes. I would just like to say thank you very much to what seemed like a billion million people for filling up our runtime for this week. Thank you, guys.
I think people thought we must have needed it. And
well, we do keep asking and then not
we
putting
did keep asking, and we're going to play them. We're not missing a one because we've had 2 of these messages since before LA. Sorry to the 2 of you that sent them. You know who you are.
Jet lag struck Ian in a very bad way. But back to it. Of course, if you do get something cool and you want to share it with us, tag us and then drop our famous hashtag, Shinies of the Week.
Could you please clarify that spelling for me? Please.
I certainly can. A very panicked JT. That would be SHINIESOFTHEWEEK. Put that on your post. It'll be stellar, and that's going to make it nice and easy for us to find your awesome catches. But should we just dive straight in, Vasa, with some of the bits and pieces that happened over the course of the weekend just gone?
Yeah, let's do it, because this past weekend, Saturday last week, was Fuecoco Community Day. The second starter from Gen 9.
Barcelona.
Gen 9. Barcelona. Yes, Francesco's favourite is Sprigatito. But yes,
Old
Fuecoco
news.
Community Day. Let's have a bit of a chat, because for me, I was very up against the clock. I know you had things on. So let's just talk about what we thought of the day, because from my perspective, it was an okay community day. It wasn't particularly next level. And it was a very slow to start com day. It's a subtle shiny, but then I think all of Gen 9s are.
Yeah.
What can I say that really stands out? Not a lot. It was an okay community day, but it certainly wasn't one for the records.
I'm dying to hear what Mark's got to say.
Should we let Mark go next?
Yeah, why not? I think that means he didn't get a shun.
I think that means he didn't. Ash probably did. Did Ash get one, Mark?
He's nodding incessantly, so
Yeah.
maybe. But we'll never know, I guess, until next week when his voice is fully healed. But
It is bad when you've got a sore throat and you can't quite get those words out.
I mean, when I was unwell and had something very similar, that was almost the noise that was being produced.
Yeah.
It's a little bit disconcerting if you go to the shops, but, you know, people deal with it. It's life. Anywho, I've got to say that, honestly, I thought this com day was a banger. Like, it's my personal favourite of the three from Gen 9 starter-wise. Really like Fuecoco. The shiny subtle, but then as it evolves, I think we said this for Sprigatito and also for Quaxley, it gets more vibrant.
By the time it gets to Skeledirge, it is an amazing shiny.
It's like full-on magenta fire croc, fantastic. Honestly, at the time, and I still don't know personally how good it is in terms of being a meta fire-type Pokemon, but there's like a million billion legendaries that are probably better than it. So it's a case of just having it for fun. One of our crew was...
What was that, Mark?
PvP.
Oh.
I don't know.
Is he getting into that now? Wow, Mark, he's nodding
maybe.
away. Yeah.
He's diving into the Baguette League. Actually, I was meant to write something to you guys about baguettes and Paris, but we'll come back to that later in the show. So Triple Dust, cannot go wrong with that. Because we had a really good turnout, it was actually such a lovely day for once in the UK.
Best day of the year so far. It was like 17 degrees.
And it got a lot of people out. New shiny, of course, good bonus. And we can mention it as well. The GMAX starters were back in town for the weekend.
They were over the weekend. It wasn't specifically to the com day, but over the weekend there was the GMAX battle weekend.
Yeah, and the com day, I think, lent very nicely to getting hopefully a bigger number of people around to be able to take those on. Certainly here in Ealing, we had a good turnout. It was like 1.5 lobbies per GMAX, and more people came towards sort of the middle of the day, and then it kind of petered out. I did 2 of each, got 1 GMAX Venusaur shiny, which was awesome, but
Nice.
I'd never had a chance to take these down. So I was like, I'm not going to spend a million billion particles on taking these down over the course of the day, because it was a bit slow to get going. I think it was like 20 minutes to get my first shiny. It's like, for me, that's like a trudging through treacle, painfully slow. But then you're doing the GMAX things, and like, okay, at some point, I want to go and chase the shinies instead. And that's kind of how I decided to do my time. It's like the first hour was a bit slow, and then I was like, right, to hell with the GMAX. Let's go for those shiny crocs. And
Sue was saying she did 9 battles, no shinies.
there we go. 9
Yeah.
battles, no shinies, no hunters, no decent IVs. But I guess special trade fodder, which is kind of what the rest of mine were as well.
Yeah. Mark, did you do any GMAX battles?
Informative. Moving
No,
on.
I think he was trying to say that he couldn't get the numbers, actually.
Is that what the 2 was?
Yeah, I
There's
think that's what
two-
he couldn't get the numbers, yeah.
2
yeah.
squeaks, that meant it was only him and Ash.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a crack at them? Because I know you attempted them way back in, what was it, November?
Yeah, when they
time
first dropped and you were out of the country, I attempted them with sort of some of my locals, and we just couldn't get the numbers. That has changed. I mean, we didn't do them on the Saturday. To be fair, we didn't do
Yeah.
the community day was the community day. We did a few of us got together on Sunday. We had a posse of about sort of 13, 14 people, which is more than you actually need.
That's a good crew, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The turnout was pretty good. So, and people were getting shinies. Not me, of course, but people were getting the shinies, which is always
What's
nice
new?
to see. And somebody
Yeah.
actually said to me, "Goes, oh, you're really good at faking happiness for people." I'm like, no, I genuinely am happy when other people get the shinies. I might sound insincere.
Thank you
for
very
saying
much. One of my
GGs,
finest
but
talents.
I genuinely am happy for people.
Can't not be, really.
Yeah. So I got one of each, but no shinies for me. But the guys I was with, there were like 3 or 4 shinies.
That's all right, though. One thing I will say, though, is like, yeah, we had a really good crew and able to take them down, and people had much better stuff this time. There was the odd Ghastly or Wooloo I saw sneaking into the lobby, but we demolished these so much quicker than what it looked like beforehand. Got vastly better stuff, so that was really good.
Yeah, well, people are learning now. They know you need a healer. They know you need a tank. They know you need attackers.
Yeah, and you can.
They know you actually
coordinate.
need to talk to each other, which is like
Yeah.
unheard of. Like, talk to each other.
We don't like doing that in the UK.
No.
Thank you very much, but we have to. So there was one battle we decided to do before most of the crew went to go and have a drink of whatever their choice was.
Beverage,
in
a
the pub.
cold beverage.
A cold beverage of a certain variety, and I went off to edit. We tried to take down a G-Max Venusaur, and we were, I'd say, 5% of its health left in the red. It was taking a bit of time, but we were all doing okay. And then there was suddenly, I think there's a switch in a G-Max.
At 5
battle where-
minutes, it basically triggers and it'll one-shot you.
Yeah, it just one shot, and it doesn't matter what you did. If you dodged, if you had 3 shields on, it just one shot everything we had, and we're like,
Yeah, so that's at the 5-minute mark.
fantastic. Come on, we were so close to doing it. I find that really rather irritating, to be honest. But honestly, as a whole, the weekend, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and it didn't seem too intense. We said about some of these 2-day events how they were quite overwhelming. I'm hoping this is a sign of things to come because it wasn't too much. It was about pitched at about the right level, I would say.
There were more max spots, it seemed, around. The rotations were every 30 minutes. So if you were playing in a park area, you could loot the park and you would get yourself a refresh of G-Max.
Well,
You didn't have
unless
to
a
go
Sobble
wandering.
spawned.
Well, yeah, unless one of the Gen 8 starters spawned, which was a bit of a meh. But you didn't have to walk exceedingly far to get these power spots when they've refreshed, which I thought was honestly a really, really good call on that front. It would have been nice if they'd added what they did for this weekend with Dynamax Raikou. You know, we have more max particles for the day and a few other bits and pieces with it.
Yeah.
But the G-Max starters were kind of like an add-on to an event.
And that's the
featuring
thing, isn't it? The
Kubfu.
D-Max, you can probably do this with like 2 or 3 trainers. You don't need big lobbies for this one.
No, I'm sure everybody was bringing in their overgrown moles.
Oh,
To take on
if
the
they don't,
Sabertooth.
then they really need their heads looking at.
Bring in your best Kingler.
Do not bring in the
Daft.
Wooloos.
Daft idea. But actually, since we've mentioned that event, we're sort of going through all manner of different things quickly. How good was your Kubfu from the research?
It was 3-star, but it was a bad 3-star. It was like, I think 78%. It wasn't great at all.
So classic kind of special research
Yeah,
level.
classic bad encounter. The sort of badness that you would retain only for mythicals from research.
The things that you can't trade
Yes.
to do a little flip of the lucky, which is unfortunate. Marky, what about your IVs? Was that a 10, 11, 14?
He's handing something to us, isn't he? He's using his hands. I think it was bad.
Yeah. We can't put that on even a video episode because it's, the flipping the bird. So, Marky, careful.
Yeah,
that's,
exactly. He's getting frustrated that he can't sort of enunciate the word properly. You okay, mate?
That's going to get more and more hoarse the more he tries.
It is.
He'll start sounding like a goat any minute, I'm sure. But looking in the chat, and actually shout out, we've got both the gold and the silver tier on this show. So lovely to have you all jumping in the chat with us. So we've got, oh God, it's already gone. Jeez. Marky's got a
Just rest your voice a little bit, Mark, yeah.
Have some water. Take it easy, dude. Paul, Barside 2, first Kubfu was 11, 14, 11, and his second was 14, 12, 11. Double.
I would say it's a slight
mediocrity.
improvement by maybe 2%.
Yeah, and then it goes on to Sue Hermes Ninja, one of our fantastic admin duo. 14, 15, 11, which honestly
That's
I
not
think
too
is
bad.
all right, actually.
Yeah.
89%er. And then the second was the classic 10, 10, 12. Fantastic. Dwayne got himself a 12, 10, 15. There's a lot of sad faces or crying, laughing emojis going along with these, which I think is kind of on point, really. My 2 Kubfus, I did get gifted the ticket, which I thought was very generous, and honestly, I wouldn't have personally paid for it because it's like you get 1 Dynamax re-roll, and that's kind of it with the ticket.
I didn't get the second one gifted to me, and there was no way I was paying for it.
There's no way to pay 8 quid for it, really. But the first Kubfu was 13, 12, 10. And then the next one was a whole 1 CP higher. This was the paid ticket one, 13, 10, 13.
There you go.
Like, oh joy.
Slightly better.
Seriously, it's like, you got it, it's better. Paid ticket got you one better
Do
CP.
not moan. You got a better.
You got a better one. You cannot quibble with such a thing. Pay to do very, very slightly better. But shall we quickly rate Fuecoco Community Day? Let's take the Gmax shenanigans out of the equation. Just the raw Com Day value. Go for it.
Yes.
Vanessa.
Shall I start? We'll give Mark a little bit of a break.
I think he needs to. We need him to sound like a turtle again.
Yeah, just sit tight, Mark, and we'll come back to you in a little bit, mate, because that voice is starting to sound a bit strained. Easy one for me. Didn't really set anything going deep down inside my soul. I liked Fuecoco, but it didn't do anything special for me. I didn't get that special feeling. So for me, this one is a solid 7.
Your fizzing root thing, like James May.
Yes.
I'll personally ramp it right up to an 8. I thought it was a great Com Day. Spawns were good. Shiny rate was pretty solid. Good bonus. I personally like it as a shiny.
You just love Stardust, though, don't you? And to be fair,
after
Unova Tour, we needed a Stardust bonus.
I really needed dust. It was bad. 2 weekends of being asked to power up things 5 times for endless hours. Jeez.
Yeah.
But Marky, hopefully you've rested your voice. Give us your score out of 10. Oh my God, it's gone worse. Shall we let him have... I wonder what end that came out of. Anyway, that was our Fuecoco Com Day. Fuecoco Community. We did see on socials that people had an absolute ball with this one, which is great. So thank you very much for letting us know on X, particularly, how your Com Day went. But let's go back to the formula of the show. But this time, it's going to be slightly different.
Just tell me about you, mate. Just what's going on?
So, for getting to know you this week, because Mark is only making animal noises, we thought what we'd do is give the opportunity to the gold and silver Patreon members in the chat tonight to ask us a few questions, kind of like an Ask Me Anything.
Yeah, ask us anything at AMA, yeah.
Definitely wasn't done last minute at all. Fire some questions away, fantastic Patreon members. What would you like to ask us? And hopefully we can, I think we'll put 3?
Yeah, let's go 3.
3's a nice number. Since there's 3 hosts on the call tonight.
3's the magic number, actually, Whitfield.
3, yes.
Yeah. Chris, AMA. What shiny 90 IV would you absolutely love to give a boost to a Shundo?
Ooh, what shiny 98s have we got in our accounts that could be boosted to
question,
a Shundo?
Actually, let's have a quick look. Let's load
when
the game
Niantic or Scopely bring in the bottle cap for a mere $100. It's a very easy question. Shout out to Kerry, actually one of our gold tier Patreon members. We did a lucky trade on Global Unova Tour. She wanted the shiny Tyrant. Hers came through a 93% shiny Lucky Tyrant. I wanted to try for the Shundo Groudon. She gave me 98 Lucky Groudon. So close. 15, 15, 14 is technically a functional Shundo, but I would definitely love to put that up to a Shundo, just full stop, because that would complete the trio of Rayquaza, Kyogre, and then Groudon. So that's my pick.
Nice.
While Vass is having a search round, what would you put up from 98 shiny to Shundo?
98% Roserade shiny.
That's very timely, Chris, from the Spotlight Hour. Since that was tonight. 98 Roserade, or shiny 98, sorry, I don't know if it's lucky. So close. Fantastic. And it'd be very good to take in versus Tapu Koko, as Marky would say. Vass is still desperately searching through his storage.
I'm scrolling like a madman, and I'm looking, and I have a 98% shiny Rayquaza, which kind of has to be right up there. But I'm actually going to skew Chris's questions slightly. Go to Unova, passing that, I got a shiny 96% catch card Kyurem, which I've used. So if it had to be 98, it would be the Rayquaza, but really that 96% catch card Kyurem would be the one I would love to
just have to bump it up 2 stages.
Marky, what about you? Oh, it sounded a bit hoarse.
But where's that sound effect when you need it?
It's there.
That's enough horsing around on the soundboard, Vasa. Thank you very much. So Mark's probably got a 98 shiny Swaddle he'd want to get up to a show.
Well, he missed the hundo, didn't he, that we got at the
the
beginning?
tiny
of the
hundo.
Yeah.
Tiny hundo, he missed us. Excellent. So,
Oh, we didn't like that.
oh, okay.
Okay, sorry, Mark. Yeah, we're now still sore subject.
Hashtag offended.
Yeah. Okay, so Dwayne Del Hazard X asks, there's a little caveat for Milo and myself in here. What is your favourite TV show? Other than Top Gear, and I'm guessing he means and Grand Tour, because let's take Clarkson
They're
out of the
classed as one.
equation. Let's just,
They're classed as one.
yeah, Top Gear, Grand Tour, Clarkson's Farm out, that you could binge watch.
Oh, okay. So this is very much finding like the C or B option.
Or D
It's
for
obviously
you,
option
really,
A.
because you've got A, B, C already taken.
Oh, are we going to throw in Clarkson's Farm into the
Yeah.
the banned list
Anything
as well?
Clarkson-esque, I think he probably means.
It
Yeah,
probably
laughing
means that,
emoji,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's the 3 favourite shows out the window, unfortunately. Honestly, I would have to pick.
What, you watching Desperate Housewives with your beloved?
Is that? No.
dunno.
Oh, what's it called? It's one of those stupid reality shows that are tuned in occasionally on the background. Is it Love is Blind or Married at
I
First?
remember you
One of
talking
those
about
things.
that just sounds like, wow.
Honestly, I only chip in occasionally. My brain hears something utterly ridiculous that gets said. I'm like, what on earth are they on about here? And then I zone out again. James May, Our Man in Italy. Is that on the ban list as well?
Dwayne's caveat is no Clarkson, lad. He didn't say anything
No
about
Clarkson. Okay, no
Hammond
James.
or May.
I haven't seen Our Man in Italy with James May for a little while, but something I very much got involved with binge watching and possibly just having running in the background while editing quite a bit is the show from, donkeys years ago now, Primeval, that used to be.
Oh, wow, that's so old.
It's really old. I think it was like
Yeah.
2007. And I never ever saw it as a kid because it was always, I think, like the 9 p.m. slot after Top Gear. And obviously, when you're getting ready for school, can't stay up that late when you're that young. So I never got to see it. And I finally started watching it. I'm like, oh my God, this is so my sort of jam. You know, I'm very much interested in paleontology and prehistory and that sort of thing. And the fact that it brings in space-time continuum and God knows what, it's great. And I really love the story arcs that you get in it. So yeah, I'd vote Primeval, to be honest, just
And
to make
for
sure
me-
we don't choose James May, Our Man in Italy.
Yeah, for me, there are so many shows that I can binge watch. Let's just run through a few because I can't narrow it down to just one. 2.5 Men, Big Bang Theory, they're sort of comedy sitcoms that I love to sort of binge watch. But then you've got
There you
things
go.
like Breaking Bad and
I'm sure that
Suits,
Marky's
great
choosing
shows.
one of those.
Yeah, there's so many things I can binge watch. And Cobra Kai is a show that literally it's like
You've
crack.
mentioned that, yeah.
I can't put Cobra Kai down when I start
It's like
watching
what?
it. Seriously, it's like crack cocaine. It is so addictive that you just go show to show to show to show. You just can't stop watching it.
Sounds unhealthy, Vasa. You should
Says the man
take
who
some-
watches the Grand
take
Tour
some turtle
24 hours a
therapy.
day.
Yeah, it's running in the background right now. It's right there.
So Sue, our admin's binge is the Golden Girls proper
There's a sound
80s, I
effect
think, or
for that,
early
Vasa.
90s sitcom.
Gold!
And
Girls.
Jeez. Mark?
Yeah, what about Marky? Oh, he's back to that now.
His voice has rested for a few minutes.
Okay. We're going to assume that he picked one of the things that Vasa named because he sounded a little bit
No,
annoyed
I think
on that
Mark
one.
likes Schitt's Creek, doesn't he? He binge watches Schitt's Creek, he was saying in a previous show.
Yes, true. And that doesn't have Clarkson in it, so it's not off the banned
Yeah.
list.
And I think he also likes Simpsons and Family Guy. A bit like you, actually, in that respect, thinking about it.
Family Guy, definitely my jam.
Yeah.
Did binge watch it a little while ago.
Let's go one more question.
One more.
What have we got? Well, Barca wants to know our favourite fast food, but that's a bit of a mute question for you, considering every fast food we had in LA you didn't like.
I liked elements of some of them, shall we say that? Is that following up now, Barside, that we've been to America, we've had some fast food, and now we can have a bit more of a discussion about it?
Paul's also asked, now you've travelled to several Pogo events, which was the best and why?
Should we go with that? That's quite
Yeah, okay,
timely
let's go with
considering
that one.
what's
Yeah,
going
let's
up
go
in
with
the
that one.
show later. Thank you, Paul. That would act as a really good segue, but it's not quite coming up yet.
No,
so,
it's not.
yeah, your favourite Pokemon Go travel event that you've done and why? Should we let Marky go since he avoids going to America?
So, Mark, are you actually going to get on a plane this year and go to a GoFest?
I ain't getting on no airplane, and that's it.
Eurostar, baby.
Eurostar then, Marky. Hopefully they've got rid of the bomb in Paris.
Oh,
I
dear
think
God.
that was a thing the other day.
Is that a Pokestop?
I don't know. They said they cancelled all Eurostar services the other day because they found a bomb or an unexploded thing on the.
Oh, isn't it an unexploded Second World War
Yeah.
thing? How did it just
Yeah.
magically appear in front of the Eurostar?
Exactly.
Strange.
It's just the train's been running
I
happily
was like, oh, look, it's there all along.
for donkey's years. So, Marky, what's been your favourite event? Can you repeat that?
Which country features horses? Oh my God! What?
What's he doing in that shed?
He's he's running up the walls. Jesus Christ!
I think Mark was saying his favourite was Dortmund GoFest back in 20.
Is Dortmund famous for horses jumping on walls? I don't know. Maybe we missed that.
It was a walled park.
Ah, maybe there's the tenuous
Maybe it's
connection.
like
I was
that.
too busy.
Maybe he's miming what he wanted us to know.
Yeah, that's the best he could do is sign language. That's unfortunate for an audio podcast. Go on,
is, yeah.
Vasa. What's been yours? Because we've done some amazing events, and you've actually done the most out of all of us, I would say.
I have actually thinking about it, and there are so many memorable ones, and I could just reel them off. I think, and I've made this joke many times over the last 4 years, I think you never forget your first time. So in a lot of ways, going to Dortmund in 2019 for my first GoFest, 2018 Safari Zone, to be fair, but the first GoFest I went to in 2019 in Dortmund, that one was actually really special. I was creating content, but more casual than I am now. But it's got to be that. But equally, that same year, I also did Chicago and Grant Park. Oh, sorry, Mark. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Chicago is, again, another standout as well. I'm not narrowing it down to one specific venue, but GoFest 2019. But both were really special to me.
Oh, for goodness sake. So
But
Vasa
then,
can't even
again,
pick one.
If I had, again, it's one of these things where I think the special things about all of them, because I did those two solo. The first one I did with you, Sue, Francesco, and a lot of the people that are now part of our family. Seattle, that was also amazing. I can't pick one. All of those three were amazing.
Yeah. Seattle, I was going to say Seattle would have been one of my choices, definitely, because that was my first GoFest Pokemon event in America.
Yeah.
And first time going to America at that point since 2014. Significant thing. I'd never been on the West Coast before either. It was a huge deal, amazing place to go. But I think as an overall sort of experience with anything and everything that we had going on and did, I know that Randall's Island gets a bad rap, but I would say New York 24 for me. There was so much going on with that GoFest. And yes, I was one of the mad people. We talked about it a lot at the time, going out for the 5 a.m. raids, but the days are long. The sun was up, loads of people out at 5 a.m. as well. It was 3 days of intense kind of raiding, gameplay, walking through the sweatiest, hottest place that you could imagine, really. Even the ferry over to Randall's Island, Randall's Island, as I say, gets a bad rap, but the journey to get there, we've always said the ferry was a bit more atmospheric. They did add something else to it.
There was something about cruising up the river which was a lot better than walking across the 125th Street Bridge.
Yes. I think swimming across would be preferable to that, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
But there was also the different spawns that were there. You had different Oricorios to chase. There were so many good shinies to chase. You had the shiny Ultra Beasts as well, the Crozma. It had a bit of everything there, plus the people, because I said, like, loads of people were out doing raiding, then people were meeting up in Central Park. The vibe was really there. So there were lots of good elements. There's been loads of good events that we've done over the years. We've
so
prattled
many,
on
and
about them all the time.
We say that I've been to the most, and out of the three of us, I have. But then we look at the likes of Paul, one of our gold tier patrons, and that man is insane. He goes to literally every live event, and I hat off to the guy because his body clock must be a mess. Because Paul's saying in the chat, for me, it's Japan. They're all awesome. The density of stops, gyms, and just the Pokemon vibe. And Japan has to be somewhere that is in all of our targets, and it just
definitely
never works out for us.
Definitely, it never works out timing-wise or even finances and everything like that. But Japan, we've always said, usually gets the best stuff.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
I ain't getting on no airplane, and that's it.
Oh,
Okay. Well, I guess moving on to some more stuff. Thanks, guys. Patreon peeps for your questions. There were quite a few more in there, but obviously we can only pick a couple of them thanks to the runtime. But shall we dive into some of the least exciting bits of tonight's?
Nice.
It's the news.
Yes, thank you, Nick. It is time for the news, and Milo's quite right. This is probably the most underwhelming news that we could possibly bring you. Well, we're only bringing it to you. Niantic actually released this. It's an event that's starting on March the 26th, payday for a lot of people, at 10 a.m. your local time, and it will run through to Sunday, March 30th at 8 p.m. your local time. So make the most of those 4 whole days.
Don't put your paycheck into this event. That's all we're going to say. But there are some decent event bonuses. So there's 2 times XP for successfully catching Pokemon with nice or better throws, increased candy for nice throws or better, and the same with XL candy. So basically just throw the ball and hope for the best. Lure modules will attract Sizzlipede during the event. Increased chance to encounter Shiny Wurmple and Francesca's favourite, Shiny Venipede. Fantastic.
Did he not get enough of those at GoFest in London?
I think you can never have too many Venipede shinies. So there you
Well,
go.
he certainly can't have enough shiny Vs, can he?
Not once we've purged them.
Yes.
That's for sure. Everyone's
He told me he was
asking
going to
for those.
auction them off, which actually is against TOS, Francesco, so just you can't really do that.
No, you can't do that.
We jest,
We'll-
by the way, Niantic.
We'll snitch on you. So the final bonus is if enough Pokemon are caught with help from a single lure module, additional Pokemon will appear near the lured Pokestop, whatever that actually translates as.
And enough is quite vague.
Yeah, enough. It's like 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, as Whitfield alluded to, Sizzlipede is a Pokemon Go debut. It's a Pokemon that originally appeared in the Galar region. Its evolution Centiskorch is also going to be obviously available because it's its evolution.
It evolves.
Yes, that's kind of a thing. You can evolve your Sizzlipede into Centiskorch for 50 Sizzlipede candy.
For 50 of your finest US dollars, you can evolve this.
Thanks, Scopely.
Fantastic. So I will say, Marky, take a breath on this one because obviously your range of animal noises are not going to cut it when it comes to Pokemon names.
Yeah,
So
you sit this one out, yeah.
your wild encounters for this event start really bad and then get much better. So Caterpie,
Weedle,
Wurmple,
Nincada,
Venipede,
Dwebble,
Joltik,
Grubbin,
Dewpider,
and Nimble, which I know Tom, the cruise ship, will be chasing the golden Nimble.
There you go, your golden Nimble. However, some trainers might even encounter the following.
No, Mark, we said we'd take over. It's okay.
Depends on where on the internet you go for that. Cutie Fly.
That's not a bad one, actually.
It's not. It's a nice shiny, but you're lucky if you get a Cutie Fly.
Yeah, now the raids, Marky, you can rest up, man. 1-star raids, I'll take these because they're not special at all. 1-star raids are going to be Scyther, Nincada, and okay, you might want to Dex a Sizzlipede. I know you can't leave them alone, but just rest your voice. Sizzlipede will be your other one, so if you're not going to drop a lure module, then you can raid it and get your Dex entry.
As I think what Marky was saying there is you could just try and find it in the wild off of your lure module rather than raiding for it. That's his typical strapline.
I think he was possibly trying to say that.
We know the boy so well. However, there's an unusual disturbance in the force of Niantic. The 3-star raids can actually all be shiny. Can you freaking believe it? So you've got yourself, again, it starts bad and gets much better. Beedrill, Sizzle, and then Cleavor is back. They can all be shiny, which is really quite nice indeed.
It is now, as with any event, there's field research tasks, and completing them will earn you Mega Energy, Scatterbug Candy. Pretty sure people don't actually need Scatterbug Candy, but you know what? You can never have too much Scatterbug Candy, and encounters with event-themed Pokemon.
Hopefully not just Caterpies.
Wurmples as well, actually, yes, yeah.
Perhaps Wurmples. Now, there's some good news. There will be free timed research opportunity during this event, which is lovely. So this free research is going to give you 1 lure module to help you along your quest of getting the Pokedex.
And one of the tasks from the timed research will be use a lure module.
Use a lure module, but then you have to get one anyway. But you will get encounters with event-themed Pokemon, including Shedinja, which is quite cool, because that can be shiny. It's very rare and elusive.
Yeah, it's boosted as well, isn't it?
Sizzlipede, I think it is boosted. Yeah, you're right. Sizzlipede as an encounter, which is great. Cleavor and some more. And of course, being timed, get it done before March the 30th at 8 p.m. your local time, which is when we'll be wrapping up the City Safari, I believe.
I believe so. Now, Milo said there was some good news, and there was also some bad news.
What?
Well, there's a paid timed research as well. However, I know, Mark. It could be worse. This research is only $2 US, or the equivalent in your local currency, and the timed research will reward you the following: 1 lure module, 2 premium battle passes, and encounters with event-themed Pokemon, including, get this, Heracross.
Oh, that's decent, actually.
Sizzlipede, Cleavor, and more. So getting a regional... Okay, if you live in Florida, maybe not that special, but for everybody else... You might be able to get a pink bug.
Quite a few of these get megas as of now. Heracross, Sizzle, etc. Now, honestly, it's sometimes hit and miss with these avatar items, but I think these are both bangers, to be honest. You've got a Sizzlipede boots and a Scolipede jacket. The jacket is fantastic. If you took a Scolipede and turned it into like one of those puffer coats...
I was going to say, it looks very similar. It's like your puffer coat, but it's red.
Yeah, red with like circles on it.
Yeah.
That's something you could actually wear in the real world, to be honest. That's pretty much fire.
And of course, there will be collection challenges, which are themed around catches and evolutions, which will give you a host of rewards, and Pokemon showcases, which will be at different stops, which are not different because we know they're always the same.
They just need to change one word of that.
Just change the wording, Niantic.
Just seriously, look out for showcases at Pokestops.
The same Pokestops.
Yes, or
just put
same
at Pokestops. Just take different out.
Yeah, it's not that difficult.
I feel some feedback coming on.
Quickly. I think Mark is readying himself up for this one.
Oh, so you're not impressed then, Mark?
I think he's thinking the bug out event is a load of horses' manure, but that might just be what that sound effect's doing.
I don't think he likes it.
No, clearly not.
Maybe there's only so many Caterpies and Wurmples that you can get before you lose the plot.
Maybe. I guess he might be a little bit salty because, Sawaddle.
Well, that's not really a bug, is it?
It's sort of a bug.
More like a...
If you say it's something from Amsterdam... It's more like an edible. Right, there we go.
Yeah. It does look like something that could be...
It's primarily a bug type. We'll just clarify that.
Yeah.
It's a bug wrapped in some...
I think this just looks like an event to get through. It doesn't look particularly special. It's nice to see a new release.
Yeah.
But it looks like a very mid-event to me. Not particularly great. There's nothing to raid. And unless you need anything from the wild encounters, it's not particularly special.
It's not as bad as it was it last year? Or the
last
year
year
before?
Was terrible. This year's just bad. But it's definitely not.
Yeah. Unless you're looking for a Nimble, that is.
Well, I actually still need the shiny Nimble.
Honestly, even though I've got both of them, I got very lucky when it got released earlier this year. I was saying this to somebody. I was like, when an event comes around and it brings back a fairly newly released shiny that isn't too readily available for a second time, that instantly makes the event much more appealing. Because if you took Nimble out of that equation, you'd look at all of that and go, what the bloody hell? We've got Caterpie, Wurmple, Weedle again, Dwebble, Venipede, Joltik, we've had that before, Grubbin had a community day.
I mean,
maybe
I am looking at that, and there is literally, other than the Nimble, there is Nimble and Cutiefly for me. That out of all of those mons, Nimble and Cutiefly.
And then there's an excuse to chuck on lures. And I like a new Pokédex entry. Sizzlipede looks really cool.
Yeah, but you only get it once, don't you? So that's the thing. Once you've caught it.
I know. But it's sort of a thing of like, can you get a couple of them? Could you try, get a decent IV one, I guess, get the candy and evolve it?
If it's coming off lures, you're not going to get that many chances, I wouldn't imagine.
Make sure you've got your bug mega on.
Maybe.
Top tip there. Fantastic. There's a couple of opportunities here. If anybody missed the Cleavor raid day and doesn't have that shiny, you can go for that. And good luck on your free research with Shedinja, because that thing is a rarity. So, mid. I would agree mid. Yeah, that's for sure.
Absolutely mid. But that's not all the news that we're looking at, is it, Whitfield?
No.
Do we really need to talk about this? Do people really need to know that Mega Absol has a raid day?
Good news.
What?
Yeah, Mega Absol has a raid day, the day after the Community Day Classic. There's not much else to say.
There is not much else to say. I mean, it's getting Brutal Swing, which has a trainer battle power of 55 and a gym and raid power of 65. We don't know what that means. We don't PvP.
No, we only work. It's got 55 baguette. That's what it has. We're talking
See, I'm looking. I
baguettes
think it's
here.
65 baguettes has got to be better.
Surely, the more baguettes you have, the more damage you're going to do. But it's the same any old raid day that you would really have. There's obviously the passes increased, 20 remotes, bloody blah.
Yeah, 5 free raid passes from spinning discs for a total of 6.
It's just, it's Absol. As Megas go, Absol has been in the game for a very long time. It's not particularly good. You know, when you come to the dark type meta, you've got Tyranitar, you've got Houndoom, you've got Gyarados. There's literally every mega under the sun that is a dark type is better than this one.
There is, and I know people like Absol, but honestly, and it's not often you'll hear me say this, there's very little to make me want to go out and spend 3 hours raiding for Absol.
I mean, the only thing is obviously increased chance for a shiny Absol, but it was a perma-boosted shiny.
But it's a perma-boosted
anyway.
shiny. You can just walk down the street, tap on it, and it'll be orange.
Anybody who's played the Fashion Week of any years whenever Absol was featured, you know, you pick up about 4,500 of them every single time you go out the door. So...
Dwayne in the chat said, I'm so glad they've announced a day with no events on the 23rd. And you're right. This is not
that
an
very
event.
much actually might be very accurate, to be honest. I'm literally going to do my 6 free passes, and that will be it for me. Because
Spindiana said exactly the same thing in the chat. Mega Absol is free passes and done. Yeah.
Yeah. What was this? Paul said, first raid day, I'm not going to do in person at all. That says something there.
Yeah.
And even with Brutal Swing added to it, you're not going to suddenly find yourself like every trainer's using Absol versus the raid counters. Like,
not at all.
Mewtwo's come back into the raids. Number 1 counter, Absol. No, it's not like that at all.
No, not at all.
I think this is the thing of like when we looked at all of the events over this season, we went, bloody hell, there's some with like 2 per day or 2 per weekend or whatever. This is the thing of like, I would almost, they rather just said, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Really.
They kind of have said that without saying it with this event.
Yeah, we've got to view it as if nothing is particularly happening, to be honest. So you can do your Com Day Classic and swiftly move on and have a very chilled Sunday, I suspect.
Yes, Taylor swiftly move on, in fact. Anyway, moving on.
Moving swiftly on.
You said you've been pondering a new idea for a game.
Let's call it a rehash.
Us rehashing games into new formats? Never.
This is working for episode 300 of the awards. Yes, it is shiny, happy Pokemon. And, well, I'm afraid, you know, Marky Boy, Mr. Turtle over
He's
there,
trying.
I'm afraid he can't really, because how are you going to do this game with that kind of voice? I'm afraid he's going to have to sit this one out. But that does mean we've got something extra special for this one. So, the extra special bit that we have got lined up will be involving the Patreon chat that we've got tonight. So, you guys in the chat, we want you to pick Pokemon and a part of that Pokemon and its shiny variant. And basically, you're going to tell us in the chat what it is. We'll read it out, and then we've got to guess quickfire to try and figure it out. And Ian, should we just go first to 2 to try and keep it
Let's
simple on this
go
one?
first to 2, yeah.
So, yeah, the rules, people of this game, anybody who's new to the podcast who hasn't heard us play this game before, what's going to happen usually is the host would name a Pokemon and a body part of that Pokemon. And then the 2 competitors or multiple competitors have quick fire to say the color of that body part of the Pokemon as a shiny version. So if I was to say, for example, what's the color of shiny Nimbol's body, Ian might very well want to play
Gold.
that sound effect. Gold. There we go. So, the first Pokemon that we are going to have thrown at us, bear in mind our phones are offline, so we have no idea, Pokedex or shiny whatevers. So, Del Hazard, drop one in the chat. Go.
What colour are the inner ears of shiny Striker?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yellow?
Navy blue?
So, the inner ears.
Yellow.
No, I said yellow.
Oh,
That was my thing. I'm going to say, let's go with black. Not yellow and not black. Oh my God.
silver.
Gold! Not silver and not gold. He's been really mean on round number 1. Jeez.
This is so hard.
Very, very personal information, Ian.
Well, we share with each other. We've been doing this a long
It's a
time.
safe space.
It's starting difficult, yeah.
It's starting impossible.
Oh my God. Blue. Oh, we've already said blue.
we said-
Green.
That's what Kerry's
I said
picked in the
navy
chat.
blue. I suppose it could just be blue. Green.
I'm going for a variant. Ian is correct with green.
Yes. Never happens. This doesn't.
Oh my God.
Right. So it's 1-0
Green.
to me. So we're playing first to 2.
What a weird colour to have on the inside of your ears as a zebra.
That
God
was
almighty.
so tough, Dwayne. Somebody else wants to throw one at us. What colour is
Oh my
Shiny
God.
Swaddle's feet? Orange.
Mark's going mad trying to answer this one. I'm going to say I don't know, are they brown?
Or
Ian is
orange.
correct. A dark orange. That's a clean sweep for Vasa there on a first
Wow.
to 2.
Okay, we've got to do Chris's one just for Bants because he did
Go
throw
on,
it in
then.
there. Or what colour are the flowers on Lilligant's head?
I don't even know what Lilligant looks like as a shiny.
I'm going to say
Um,
lilac.
I will go with pink.
Not lilac.
Pink is correct. Oh, there we go.
So
We've
Whitfield
got a-
does get one.
let's call it half a point because the game had already finished, but
Yes. So at least it wasn't a whitewash, Whitfield.
not quite.
2-1.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Nearly there, but that was a stonkingly good effort from Vasa there, naming all the colours of the rainbow practically.
Yes. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue.
I know that Marky was meant to host tonight's game and he's squealing like mad because it's his favourite game creation, but he's going to have to pass the crown of Game Lord onto Vasa for his own show next week.
Thank you. I might delegate it out.
Fantastic. Well, we'd just like to say thank you very much, Patreon peeps, for getting involved and saving our bacon on this front with this show.
Yes. And bacon
Game
is the
front-
best meat.
The best meat, the best cut. Well, I think the next best cut is coming up right now. So we mentioned we've had an influx of messages and WhatsApps to the phone number. So now it's time to listen to them for what, quarter of an hour? Vasa?
About that, yes, we can go and have a coffee,
Thank you,
actually.
people.
Yes. Now, first up, Spindiana sent this message to us a day or two before we flew out to LA Whitfield. So this one refers back to episode 210.
Morning, guys. I was just listening to episode 210, and wow, I
210.
can't believe it's been 4 years already. I've been listening to you guys right from the beginning, and yeah,
Yes,
I can
Chris.
confirm it's definitely a very different show than it first started. You know, the personal grace, a wonderful thing.
That's an understatement.
It's funny you should mention the discount cards that you guys used to hand out, because actually, I still have one of those in my wallet. It's got a hashtag on it that I won't read out now, but I'll post
Thank
it
you.
in the Discord so everyone can
Thanks.
can see it. Just going back to your discussion about cake, I cannot believe that nobody mentioned Christmas cake. You know, it's
Ooh.
basically one of your 5 a day because of the amount of fruit in it. It's, you know, you got marzipan, you got icing, it's soaked in alcohol. I really think you guys missed a trick there. But anyway, other than that, happy birthday and have a great time in LA, Ian and Milo, and anybody that's going to Milan. I will see you in Milan. Arrivederci.
Yes, those discount codes or those little business cards we used to hand out with a QR code and it was actually a merch discount code, wasn't it?
It was a merch discount code, yes.
I mean, honestly, as things go, we were very rough
I think
and
it was
ready.
10% off, but there was a word before that 10.
No, it was 15% off because
Was
we
it
had,
15?
I think it was the S or something at the end of the word, but we were very
we didn't...
colourful
Yes, yeah.
with the language, shall we say.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Chris, for sending that in. I'm really sorry it took us so long to get around to
Thank you,
actually
Chris. Sorry it
listening
took
to
like 4 weeks to get it up.
And honestly, I completely forgot
sounds
about
wrong,
Christmas
doesn't it?
cake. I just clocked what you
Sorry,
said.
It took 4 weeks to get it up.
Vasa, there's a certain blue,
Yes, it's blue.
item
Yes,
that could help you.
Yes. Yeah.
Our next WhatsApp message is from Kurt Needs a Ride.
Hey, Incensed Podcast guys. This is Kurt of Kurt Needs a Ride.
Hello.
On X and all of the socials.
Hey.
Anyway, long time listener, first time caller.
Say.
Super, super enjoy listening to you guys banter about and watching all your videos. Anyway, I wanted to do some real talk.
Ooh,
We
serious.
we've got news recently that Niantic is looking to sell their games division.
Uh-huh.
They're looking to keep, I think, their location data and rent that out, license it to developers, but they're looking to sell the game. And I don't know about you, but that kind of puts me on edge. I've already been kind of disenchanted with some of the events, tickets,
Uh-huh.
feeling a little burnt out, not rating as much as I used to, and all of that thing. But now with the look to sell the game and have someone else take control of it, I'm even more concerned that events, tickets, and all of that is going to get out of control. So I've embraced the thought of maybe not relying so much on Pokemon Go as my main gaming outlet.
Uh-huh.
And that's great because I, don't have to produce content around it. I don't have to um, play it all the time. I can go to my other, monster collecting games like Dragon Quest Monsters, or
Mm-hmm.
other lesser known ones that kind of allow me to still have fun doing the thing that I love to do,
Jurassic World,
but
Whitfield.
just not having to
It's still
rely
going.
on a free to play app to get that fix. But my question to you guys is, if things get out of control, if things look to, be even more expensive to play events, to do these things, if stuff gets so heavily monetized that it's not fun anymore, do you guys have plans? Like, do you have other games that you think about, that you play outside of Pokemon Go? Do you have other content you've thought about creating and you're like, man, I kind of want to get into that, like Nick did with his, trailer for a while, or Brandon's done with his card collecting. Um, is there something else that like has grabbed you guys? I'd love to hear about it. Milo, I'm not a car guy as much as you are, but you start a channel all about cars. You driving around the English countryside. I'm probably gonna watch it.
We do that
It's
already,
just
don't we?
that'd be fun, and get you out there and having a good time. So I'd love to hear about what you guys have as plans for post-apocalyptic Pokemon Go landscape. Anyway, take care, guys. All the best to you, and thanks for all the awesome Unova content. Can't wait to see the global stuff, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Was that post-apocalyptic? Goodness me, that was a very long message, but Kurt, thank you very much for sending that in. So, centering around, obviously, we have seen that news about Scopely and the rumor deal, and God knows what's happening.
I'll say
really,
it's not news, is it? It's a rumor.
It's rumors, but we've seen that, and because last week's show was so packed, this week's show is quite packed. We'll wait for a dead week to then try and dive into that juicy subject. But in terms of stuff that's like post Pokemon Go or anything like that, I'd personally have to see how Scopely would deal with it. I don't think they'd trash the game and how it would be right now, but that's a conversation we can dive into.
Nobody that
perhaps in more
spends
detail.
the amount of money that will be required to buy Niantic's Games division are going to ruin the games.
No,
the monetization might be different. But no one's going to buy it with a view to ruining it. So I think it will be taken care of.
In terms of things you could dive into, other games wise or other content, we've always said that we could just keep this podcast kind of going, but we just remove the Pokemon Go aspect of it. We just chat about random God knows what. Let's say stuff that's something that hangs underneath the dog.
Technically can be about anything.
Yeah, we could literally just turn it to a show about anything. But solo content wise, yeah, I like my cars, and if you suggest you'd like to watch a random like road trip, we've done some road trips in the past. We'll take adventures anywhere as long as it's a nice, well, not even if it's a nice sunny day, the roof will go down. I'd very gladly make a road trip and just go and visit somewhere and make a video, because the beautiful thing about that, and what we've always said is sort of the negative thing about Pokemon Go and content, is how the time frame is so short and of the moments of Pokemon Go, because even with podcast episodes like this, you get a news drop, and if it doesn't drop on the right day for you, it's old news inside of 2 days and it's already gone and it's been burnt out. Whereas I know Vasa enjoys a bit of evergreen content, shall we say, with your road trips. I know you've got some actually still in the works from LA, haven't you, from this time around?
There's a couple of American road trip videos that are percolating that will be edited at some point. But yeah, there's a couple actually, because that's something I would like to do. I do like my travel content, and I do like to go on hikes and see places and do things. And investigate new places. So for me, road trips would definitely be on the cards. Travel would most definitely be on the cards. And I would probably do more of my sort of lightsaber stuff, because I love a lightsaber. We all know that.
We could start our own joke battle quest with baguettes.
We could.
We actually develop the Baguette League.
I mean, you said it, and it's spot on. From a collaborative point of view, there's no reason why Incensed couldn't continue if Pokemon Go went and got flushed down the toilet.
Like the piece of horse manure.
Well, Mark, would you continue your gardening channel?
I think from the sounds of it, he'd dive into exotic animals.
Maybe. There's something to be said for diving into exotic things. Anyway, they're the two messages that arrived before we got on a plane and flew out to LA. The next four are pretty much up to date. The next one is from a long-time listener, and I think he's actually Silver Tier patron, Darby Russ.
Yeah.
Hello, Incense boys. I hope you're all well, and all listeners too. Just a quick message. Darby Russ here.
Good to hear from you, Russell.
Just to say, I am fulfilling a bit of a lifetime ambition and heading off tomorrow to Japan.
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, dates are already booked and agreed with work when the Osaka GOFEST come out, so I'm missing that, but I am going to Osaka and a few other places around Japan for a trip, and looking forward to playing some Pokemon Go. So if you open your gifts, I can do some Japanese gifts, but I know you're probably all stocked up on that already.
Never say no to a Japanese gift.
And there's some recent grief that Marlo's been getting for not opening gifts. He's the best one out of the lot, yeah.
Yeah, but he's really not, though, is he?
Marlo, I'll
He's
back
really
you up,
not.
mate.
I tell you, I have no gift from Russell.
But yeah, just wondered if you were going to Japan, what it is that you would hope to achieve in a Pokemon Go wise. Big thing for me is to see if I can get a shiny Farfetch'd, as I've never had one. So wish me luck, and I'll be back in 3 weeks. So hope you're well, and enjoy the next few weeks of Pokemon Go.
Oh my goodness. Nice. So enjoy your trip to Japan.
Absolutely.
That's amazing to go out there for the first time. We've literally just been talking about that. Like, we'd always like to go to Japan. Just never quite works out. The fact that you've gone bish bash bosh, I'm going when I'm going, and yeah, might be missing out on Osaka's GoFest timing wise, but you get to experience. That's what I've said to a couple of people when we chatted about it, is when you go to Japan, you need to go there for a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
So you can explore the culture and not just do what I did for LA, which is go there for 3.5 days, do the event that's there and be gone. Because you're going so far travel-wise, you need to experience the culture and everything. You need to travel around the cities. And it's why the likes of JT Valor, when he goes over to APAC, he's there for weeks, maybe even just over a couple of months to travel around and absorb everything. And yeah, you'll have an absolute ball out there with the Pokemon Go scene, that's for sure.
Well, actually, you say that it's a long way to travel to get to Japan. It's actually a 13-hour flight from the UK, so really, it's not a lot further than
just
flying to LA.
A little bit
days.
extra than LA, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more.
A whole lot more expensive.
Yeah, I do get you there. Darby Russ, enjoy Japan, and I'm sure myself and Mark will get better at sending gifts to you, because for saying that Milo's the best of the three of us, that is like, wow.
That just shows how awful you two are.
To be fair, Mark's actually worse than you at the moment, because I know you're trying to go lucky friends with me, so you're sending gifts again. But Mark,
you and I are actually good at interacting. Mark
hasn't sent a gift for ages.
He's sat there like a stale turtle.
We're getting through them. We're halfway there. Pen pal Simon's been back on.
Oi, oi, PayPal.
Good
Simon.
morrow, my liege. This is Pen Pal Simone upon the end of man's phone. Just updating you all with my exciting weekend playing Unova Tour Global.
Come on, Unova Tour with
wow,
PayPal
Portsmouth
Simone.
was chock-a-block full of trainers. It really was amazing to see. There was a bit of an informal raid train going round and round Victoria Park, and very easy to jump into lobbies with 20 people. Great fun. I let the auto catcher do the heavy lifting with wild spawns. Wasn't really much I wanted, to be honest.
Fair
I've
enough.
got Pikachus in hats ×3, which is obviously the most important thing about any event. I got 6 shiny Kurims, and I got 2 98s, which weren't shiny, but they're the ones that I've powered up. So I now have sat at the top of my Pokédex 2 98% fused Kurims, 1 white, 1 black, both at level 50 and both double moved. I got exactly the right amount of XL candy to do
nice.
that. Yes, of course, I spent
Double
some
Kurim.
of my ill-gotten gains on it. Enjoy the cash, Niantic. But yeah, I had a great time. I got 6 shiny Kurims, and I was popping off lots of eggs as well. Nice to get that Buffalont, if that's the correct way of saying it, in the decks. And
Buffalon.
yeah, distinct lack of shinies over the weekend, but I did have 6 10k eggs left cooking. And on my walk to work this morning, whilst listening to the Incense podcast,
Excellent to hear.
they
dude.
hatched, and I got the shiny Sigalith.
We do bring the
joy, oh
shinies.
joy!
Nice shiny,
It was fantastic. So I was really pleased with that. It did cheer me up of a Monday morning for sure.
Monday morning Sigalith.
Yesterday when I got in, the event had ended, and I sat and watched all of your content from the 3 of you, and it was so nice to sort of see you all out and about and see some of the gang. And look, I hope to have the opportunity to play with you again some days, someday in the future. I think the Pen Pal Simon that you meet next time will be a very different person to the Pen Pal Simon you met before, who was slightly off his head
year and a half
and probably behaving in a rather extravagant and obnoxious way, I expect. So I'm told that's what I was like when I was drinking. But yeah, hope you're all good. And yeah, I mean, that's it now, isn't it, really? I'm sure there was loads of other stuff, but I do these freestyle. I don't make notes to read off or anything like that.
That's how we like
Maybe
it.
next time I'll get AI to
Freestyle.
write it. 3 minutes of your life that you and your listeners will never get back. I love you all. I really do.
We thank you
More than
deeply.
you ever know.
Those 3 minutes were glorious.
Yes, they were the best 3 minutes we've had for a long time. Thank you,
Good
Simon.
stuff.
And the shiny Buffalon's beautiful, and shiny Sigalith is probably the best of those 3 shinies that were released.
I'd
for
say so.
Unova.
Sigalith on the after eggs, like the leftover eggs on the Monday morning.
Yeah.
Smashing.
That's always good. That
And
is
we
definitely-
will come to the south coast, I think, summertime. May not
Yeah.
be Portsmouth itself, but we may be somewhere along nearby.
I think
so
we'll be somewhere
hopefully-
on the south coast, and equally, I think we need to head to Scotland as well. We've been saying this for like 2 years.
Scotland,
That we want to
Yeah, let's get the GoFest
So-
shenanigans out of the way, shall we? Let's do that.
Let's think about that. But next up, community ambassador Saul, aka Pokey Evo Keck,
Speaking of the south coast,
has been back on. Yeah, speaking of the south coast.
Boys. If you thought you were burnt out from
false
your Nova
start.
tour and all the research days and com days coming up, then carry on with it because GoFest 2025 information's here.
funny about that. We're covering it soon.
All I've got to say is wow. Just don't burn yourselves out, guys, because I want to keep listening to you every week. Don't
Even if we're burnt out, we'll be here.
don't do anything you don't want to do, just as Mark does. If he doesn't like an event, then he doesn't do it.
He would try and agree with you right now.
Yeah, you would actually.
Me and my co-CA are looking at all these events and thinking, is there any point? Is there any point
Of
carrying
course
on?
there is. You're a CA man.
But yeah,
It's not an
No, try and
obligation,
have a
it's a
good,
choice.
couple events and the Festival of Colours, and I'm sure that's going to be jank as well. But yeah, the vision of positivity over here, guys.
We can tell.
Have a good week though, and as always, nice to hear your voices.
Good to hear your voice, Saul, as well. Thanks very much
Yes,
for sending
always
that
good to
in.
hear you.
I was thinking of you when we read all those damn announcements out. We're like, any community ambassador. I was talking to my
It's a lot.
ambassador, Vince. It was
Yeah.
literally like, I can't do all these. I know there are certain bits and pieces happening with the community ambassadors, and it's sort of just a bit overwhelming for everybody, even the new people. It's just like there's too much to manage. So you should be able to pick and choose what you're able to host, really.
Yeah, we're certainly going to be picking and choosing what we do content on.
Yes.
But we've got one more message left, Whitfield. This one is from
final
Edinburgh
message.
666.
Oh, Sander van Dredge.
Instant podcast. It's Annenberger 666 here from, well, surprise, surprise, from Edinburgh
Speaking
in
of
Scotland.
Scotland.
I just wanted to send you guys another little voice message because over the last 3 or maybe 4 weeks, I have been really enjoying listening to the podcast, especially where all the names get read out at the end and hearing the various attempts on the pronunciation
Yes.
of my name, which is a Dutch name. So I can understand it's not the easiest name to pronounce. I think actually that Ian has been closest so far. So let me introduce myself. I'm Edinburgh 666 or Sander van den Driessen, as they say in my home country.
Okay.
I get various variations here in Scotland, so I kind of got used to any variation, really. Even in the pronunciation of my first name, Sander, which is Zander or Sander or anything really. But other than that, keep up with the good work. I enjoyed the Unova Tour live recording a lot. It was really
thank you
great
very
to
much.
see,
Yeah.
to hear all the, well, for me, familiar voices pop up from various, as I call them, YouTubers. And as my son corrects me all the time, they're not YouTubers, they're content creators. But it was great to sort of hear everybody having a great time and hear those voices. I've been of people I've been watching videos of for a couple of years now. And even to hear Mark at the beginning, which was a funny start of the episode. I hope really that one day I could come down to down south somewhere to an event. It would be great to meet some of you.
That would be fantastic.
Or
Good,
maybe you
yeah.
guys as a podcast can maybe decide to do a com day up here at some point, so closer to Edinburgh in Scotland. There's
We
a
did
good
talk about
community
Berwick
here.
into Edinburgh,
We
didn't
had on both days of
Yeah.
the Unova Global Tour, we had at least 165 check-ins each day, but there were definitely
Jeez.
way
Nice.
more people playing where the general meetup was organized by the two Edinburgh community ambassadors. And yeah, I mean, it's good fun up here. It's great to play in Edinburgh, as I always think. It's nice to walk around in the city here. And so maybe we can tempt you to come up here one day. Who knows? Anyway, keep up the good work and catch you all later.
Thanks very much for sending in that message.
Thank you. And it's something that we've toyed with the idea of since the first time we went to Amsterdam to do a com day, that we'd just road trip to Scotland and do it.
Yeah.
We talked about doing the sort of split, didn't we? Berwick upon Swede into Edinburgh,
Yeah.
the northernmost place in the town in the UK, and then moving into Scotland.
Yeah, across the border and sort of do the whole thing of like a com day in 2 different countries because
Yeah,
you're
which
able
also
to
would
do
double as
so.
a road trip video, which goes back to Kurt's question earlier, comment earlier.
Yeah, it does, and feeds nicely into. I've seen in the chat here is that people recommending where to go in Scotland. As Francesco said, Aberdeen. We've
Yes,
got
and he
Paul
was
with the
trumped by
Shetland
Spindiana,
Islands.
who said the Outer Hebrides.
The Outer Hebrides. See, isn't the Outer Hebrides where Lockdown, the Grand Tour special, ended?
Yes, I think it is.
So they went Berwick upon Tweed and they trekked across Scotland to the
Yeah.
Outer Hebrides.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It's definitely an option, and I've always wanted to go back to Edinburgh. I haven't been there since I was a small kid. It would be really interesting, particularly seeing the community that you guys out there have. Fantastic. So
I would love to do an Edinburgh com day, actually. I mean, Glasgow as well, but I think you're probably less likely to get stabbed in Edinburgh.
I'll take Edinburgh. Thank you very much.
I joke, people from Glasgow. I joke.
And we will say, even though you have just said how your name is actually pronounced, we're going to get it wrong, or I will at the end. I'm sure of that.
Yes.
But that, after a very, very long time, finally wraps up the WhatsApp messages.
We're
So
up to date. Guys, send us some more
Yeah.
messages, please.
go on. We like to play them. We've played, 6 tonight?
6.
Send us some more in. The phone number is the same one we read out at the beginning of the show. Just press the voice note message.
Yes, +44 759 269 5696.
6.
Noise 6.
Nice 6. But with all that said and done, the meat and possibly the two veg of this episode.
It's the news.
And this is the news that we've been talking about.
Yes, and Saul made mention of GoFest 2025. We are going to break down what has actually been announced and possibly theorize over what is going to be available at the various different GoFest. And the thing that greets you, we saw leaked, was the logo for GoFest 2025, and it has lots of interesting
an awesome
designs.
Logo.
Yeah, it's epic. So many elements to do with, well, we'll talk about the crown, sword, and shield versions of legendaries, etc. But the mythical that is involved with this GoFest is Volcanion, which looks absolutely epic and is one that has been sitting there and waiting for a fairly long time. So basically, Volcanion is going to be available. The elusive Steam Pokemon. Why? I don't know. Ticket holding trainers will be able to complete exclusive special research to learn more about this Pokemon and have an opportunity to encounter it. So much like every single other GoFest, the in-person people will get it first, then it will be available for the global stuff. If you've already completed the special research from one of the live events, you will get Volcanion candy instead of an additional encounter. Which is a shame.
This has always been a thing. If you go to multiple events, you will not get multiple encounters. But we talked about in-person GoFest. Where are the in-person GoFests going to be held? Well, between the 29th of May and the 1st of June, the first GoFest this year will be held in Osaka, Japan.
Where
this will be held at the iconic Expo 70 commemorative park, which rings a bell. I'm sure it's been held there before.
I think, was that 23?
Yeah, they've held it at this park before, and it looked awesome.
It does, and street fair and historic Osaka Castle, etc. And on that poster, the one mon that isn't already shiny is Carbink. So strongly suspect the Carbink shiny will be released during Osaka GoFest for you guys. And well, Hawlucha's featured on there. So all of our trips to Chula Vista.
Hawlucha is on every poster for the GoFest. And if you look at the actual logo, you do get a strong resemblance of Hawlucha's colours in there as well. There's definitely, I feel like, a Mexican kind of vibe to that logo.
It is very, very vibrant.
Yeah.
The second GoFest, I mean, we already kind of know the dates, but specific park bits and pieces. So June the 6th to the 8th is Jersey City, New Jersey. Greetings to the fair garden state. Liberty State Park in New Jersey is where the NJ GoFest is going to be held, just kind of across the water from Manhattan, which should include in the city experience. I would very much suspect.
It is. All 5 boroughs are included.
There you go.
In the city experience. So all 5 boroughs in New York are included.
So a wide range of places to play for that one. But, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting, the only Pokemon that hasn't been made globally available outside of City Safari events as a shiny is Skiddo on that poster.
Correct. And we do know that Mudbray has replaced Skiddo in City Safaris moving forward. So this is definitely the first chance that people that haven't had a City Safari will get to encounter Skiddo.
Absolutely. I mean, those of us who've been to a City Safari may be a little bit meh, but it's a chance to get some more.
But to the majority of people, that is actually a pretty epic Pokemon to be releasing for a City
Well, they're
Safari.
finally able to get it. It hasn't been available.
I mean, look at the
before.
poster. You've got Chimecho, Garlette,
Bombardier,
and Beldum on there. So really, Skiddo is probably the focus other than Hawlucha.
And Pikachu without a hat, might I add.
Yes. Now, we talked about baguettes earlier, didn't we, Whitfield?
Oh, the Baguette GoFest.
Yes. The third and final IRL GoFest of 2025 is going to be held in Paris, France on the 13th to the 15th of June this year. And with this one, it's going to be held at the Parc de Sceaux. Sure. Parc de Sceaux.
Here.
Just outside of Paris. Mark, can you help us? How do you pronounce it? Well, Mark's a French.
2 syllables.
Mark's a French speaker. Yeah. Marvel at the City of Lights as Pokemon GoFest contributes to the region's luminescence throughout the weekend. And all I can say is, we've got to do the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, sure.
We have.
We have to do it.
We went up the Space Needle in Seattle. We've got to go up the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
We did the Edge.
We did the Edge in New York.
Last year. So we've got to do it. Absolutely.
And can I actually, I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw this one straight in there. I don't know if you was going to say this. Pokemon GOFEST 2025 Paris, other than London 23, is the first GOFEST that you, myself, and Mark will all be attending, and that Sue and Francesco, our admin team, will also be at. The whole Incensed squad will be in Paris, France.
It's a rare occurrence to get us all together.
It is.
For sure.
Kind of like herding cats.
It is really. No, London was easier because it's on our doorsteps, really.
Yeah, but even though it was on our doorstep, we still couldn't get you to South London. You're like, no, I'm staying in Ealing, thank you very much.
I'm starting somewhere else, thank you very much. No, the thing I was going to mention is the Pokemon on the poster that isn't shiny as of now and is very, very likely to be the featured shiny
Greavard.
for that event. Greavard. It is a golden dog. And that's my favourite, so I'm really glad I'm doing Paris, honestly. Best pick. But actually, before we dive into the next section, it is worth noting that we've seen on the ticket purchasing, for Paris and New Jersey, there is an extra little city experience that you can buy as an add-on for the Thursday prior to
it's kind of like
the
a prelude
GOFEST starting.
to the event, yes.
Because Osaka has 4 full days of GOFEST, so you can do the park on the Thursday if you want to. Obviously, for New Jersey and Paris, you can't do that, but you can play 4 days of the experience, which I think we had a couple of times at various different events. I forget.
Yeah, we have had it before. We had it at LA.
Yeah.
For for Sinnoh Tour.
Yes.
Didn't have it this year for Unova Tour, and it has been a thing. I think at a couple of other events.
I can't remember if it was for Vegas as well, maybe something like that, but. You can then play 4 days. You can arrive on Thursday, do your city experience as well if you fancy going all out for those ones. But the big roundup, and surprise, surprise, actually, everything GoFest-wise is done and dusted in June. There is no messing around.
End of May, all of June, done. Bosh.
Done. Absolutely nothing. We'll have to see what happens in July and August, honestly. But June the 28th and 29th of 2025 is the Global GoFest, which, starting with the poster, Marky would be squeaking his head off right now. Frigibax is there, and that is very likely to be the new Dragon Shiny. Because he can barely withhold his raw squeakiness of excitement. Obviously, we know the standard drill for Global GoFest. It's available anywhere. You could play it, whatever. Pay ticket. You can buy the ticket now for, is it like 14?
I think it's normally about 15 quid, isn't it? I'm not looking
it's about
at the
$14.99 or 15 quid. It's not here on the article for me to see, unfortunately. It probably is later on. But it's going to have some good stuff. It will feature all of the shinies that were featured in the live events. If you really want to purchase your ticket from the Pokemon Go web store, you'll receive 3 premium battle passes, 5 rare candies, and 5 max revives at no additional cost. It is worth noting, though, if you purchase your global event tickets before April the 15th, and then play/open your game between the 8th and the 15th of April, you will receive a special timed research that awards an encounter with Skiddo. I would have thought it might have been more than 1, but apparently you're going to get 1.
Oh, a Skiddo is better than no Skiddo. It could be shiny.
No Skiddo, yes, I guess so. But that are all the different dates there, but there's more, isn't there, Vasa?
That's right, Whitfield. So early access to Crowned Shield and Crowned Sword forms at in-person events. So Zacian and Zamazenta, we've seen them in raids a whole lot just recently, but the Crowned Shield, Crowned Sword forms of these ones will be available with early access.
Which is sick, because those two forms
they look awesome.
Better. Not only do they visually look so
well,
much
they
better,
actually are better overall, aren't they? Yes.
These are the versions that people were using in the video game competition bits and pieces when we were playing at Worlds 2022 in London. Everyone had, I can't remember which one it was, the Crown Sword. I forget which one goes with which, honestly. But that's fantastic. Some exclusive raid bosses to chase. Quick note of the merch that you can buy. So apparently the lapel pin is exclusive for Jersey and Paris, not available in Osaka. Just bear that in mind. But the design, honestly, with the crowned versions of Zacian and Zamazenta on it. Fantastic. And I think the merch bits and pieces, certainly we said for Unova looked insane.
The merch is just leveled up every single time. This
looks
design
insane.
looks awesome. It looks really good. And Pokemon Go have actually stolen something from the Incense shop in that it's no longer just a t-shirt. You can get hoodies, you can get tote bags. There's so much that you can get.
Pin. Yeah, exactly. Zip hoodie, fantastic. So there's bits and
Francesco
pieces
will
there.
be wanting the zip hoodie, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm more of a t-shirt guy, so I'll definitely get one of those. But they
I'd
look
rather rock a
amazing.
t-shirt or like an over-the-head hoodie. I'm not really a zip hoodie type person, but
yeah, absolutely.
the design looks awesome. It looks really, really good.
And if you feel like your avatar item might be missing out on some of that merch fire, then don't worry. You will be able to get the merch t-shirt for the GoFest via a code that you'll get when you buy the real one, I think. That's how it works.
That's normally how it works.
There's also limited edition backpacks. Oh my goodness me. Get ready for Pokemon GoFest 2025 with the new limited edition backpack. Choose between Pikachu, Gengar, and Wobbuffet. Wow. Backpack to level up your in-person adventure. Trainers who purchase this backpack will also receive a matching avatar item in-game to match the physical item. So this is actually talking about a physical item that you can buy.
The picture we're looking at, the image we're looking at, just the avatar versions, but that does sound like there are physical items.
There are physical backpacks. I completely misread how that was actually put together. Anyway, exclusive for Jersey City and Paris. Unfortunately, Osaka aren't going to get these, but we know how much the merch costs. I dread to think how much they want for one of those backpacks. Probably a whole kidney.
There's no prices mentioned here, but we know that the t-shirts are normally like $25. A hoodie, I think, was about 40 in.
If you have to ask how much it is, you can't afford it.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, if you have to ask how much it is, you can't afford it. That's very true. Now, speaking of things that you may or may not be able to afford, if you want to attend one of these GoFests, the ticket prices are as follows. Pokemon GoFest Osaka, ticket prices are 3,100 yen for early bird access, or when they become general pricing, it will be 3,600 yen.
Your Jersey City prices, well, we can recognize this currency because we do enough Pokemon Go news. So, early bird discounted pricing is $25. That will go up on April the 2nd to $30.
And if you are going to Gay Paris for the GoFest, then the early bird pricing is €22 for your early bird ticket and €27 if you're getting the standard admission tickets once early bird finishes.
And of course, with these GoFests, there are add-ons. No surprise there. First up is the typical Eggthusiast, which is going to be either $15, €15, or 1,900 yen. That will give you the quarter hatch egg distance, the 3x hatch XP, candy, and Stardust.
Yep, the Raid Lover is next up. This is the one that's going to drag Whitfield out of his bed at stupid o'clock to be walking all over the Champs-Elysees. The Raid Lover is going to cost you $15, €15, or 1,900 yen. That will give you, actually, it's not too bad value if you're going to be raiding, up to 18, yes, that's right, 1-8 daily raid passes for spinning photo discs,
nice.
An additional 5,000 XP for completing raids, 6 additional candy awarded for catching Pokemon in 5-star raids, and 3 additional Candy XL awarded for catching the Pokemon if you are level 31 or above.
And the final add-on, of course, is that city-wide gameplay add-on, and it says $20, €18, or 2,600 yen. But bear in mind, that's the price for one day, I'm fairly sure. So if you really want to maximize on the GoFest, multiply that by 3. And that's where the GoFest ticket price suddenly rockets through the roof. If you start buying every add-on, that ticket price will sail well past, what, $120?
It's going to be over $100, isn't it? Yeah.
Something crazy.
But you do get a lot for your money, let's be fair.
Yes, you actually really do. So not only do you get the whole city access gameplay with everything, these add-ons only enable citywide gameplay. It is worth noting the park event experience is only available on your primary day event day, as it were. So in your allocated time slot, you choose your game day ticket first, then you add on the city experience. You'll be having event-themed Pokemon featured in the wild, an increased chance of encountering shiny Pokemon, 6 special trades per day, half trade costs, half egg hatch distance is standard. Obviously, if you buy the egg add-on, that goes up to quarter, 9 daily raid passes by spinning the discs at gyms, and field research tasks that are event-themed. Yay.
And restrictions on City War gameplay do apply. Of course, essentially, they're going to be geofencing the areas that you can play in. Now, choose your adventure. Trainers who purchase a ticket will split their day by exploring the park event and adventuring throughout the city. We know this. If you've been to one of these IRLs before, essentially, you pick either the AM park experience or the PM park experience. The event hours are between 9 AM and 6 PM. However, your game day is split. So you just need to pick whether you're going to be at the park in the morning or in the afternoon.
Simple as. And that's all the GoFest information that we have at the moment. But let's get some initial thoughts on this one. We've got Volcanion. We've got the 3/4 potential new shinies that will come with each of the different GoFests. What do we think?
Well, I mean, we've also got Zacian and Zamazenta in their forms, in their crown forms, which, again, is pretty darn good. Let's be honest, it's going to be, and we actually talked about this last week, all of the live events, certainly for the last couple of years, have been very raid-focused, and this GoFest definitely seems to be raid-focused very heavily. But I think people are going to be okay with that. It looks amazing. There's something different at each GoFest. We've got Howlucha as a regional, and there's going to be new spawns. I think this looks like it's going to be a pretty solid event, but when isn't a GoFest an event worth playing?
And I'm very excited the fact we're getting Volcanion added as the mythical. That'll be fantastic. And there's a good crop of new different shinies in there, even though I know we've played City Safari and quite a few people may have as well, but tons of people who will go to New Jersey. Skiddo is brand new for them, and it'll be fantastic. They can get that Pokemon added to the Pokédex. It's not just a new shiny, it's a new Pokemon in general.
To a lot of people,
really.
It'll be a brand new Pokemon.
Yeah. And obviously my boy Greavard, one of my favourites.
Yeah, Frigibacks at Global. We know that's going to be a shiny drop because they always release the next year's Mon, the next year's Dragon at the Global.
And we could have guessed that was going to follow the same format as... Obviously, we've had the Gen 9 starter com days this year, not the Gen 8 one. So they're not going chronologically anymore. They're going in order of their release in Pokemon Go.
Yes, that's certainly what seems to be happening. So all 4 events look epic. I wish I could attend all 4. Obviously, that's not going to be a thing. But I think the FOMO is already setting in. I don't know about you.
Very much so. And because I'm only going to do Paris, unfortunately, this year, we're going to have to wait right until the end of the in-person cycle to get to our one.
Yes, but the only good thing with that is the in-person cycle's 3 weeks this year, not 6.
Yes, it's real fast, and that's why
it's intense.
It's almost the only negative thing is how quickly the whole GoFest season is out of the way. Because back in the day, GoFest season stretched over a season. The clue is in the name. Now it's just GoFest month.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, with the exception of right at the end of May. It is pretty much just June.
And that is it. I mean, even last year we managed to stretch a little bit into July for Global. It's a bit intense, but I think their aim with that is that, not everybody is going to be flying to every single event. So if you're going to go to an event, you're probably going to pick 1, maybe 2. And the Global, everyone does. Everyone should have a good time with it. Come on, Marky, have you rested your vocal cords? Give us a quick little... I think he's just got Mudbray on the brain.
He's still sounding a bit hoarse, yeah.
Yeah. Or donkey. I don't know.
A bit donkey.
A bit donkey.
I'll say that.
But let's bring it back to current timings. Next weekend, next Saturday, is the Community Day Classic for Totodile, the other croc of the month. Shall we start the timer, Vassar, and tag team this one?
I think it's time to do just that. So, Totodile Community Day Classic is hitting on Saturday, March 22nd, between 2 and 5 p.m.
Of course, your featured Pokemon is Totodile with a shiny boost and with the featured attack of Hydro Cannon if you evolve it all the way up to Free Alligator.
Absolutely. There will be a Community Day Classic special research for $2 US or the equivalent in your local pricing currency, and that will give you the usual fare of a 3-stage special research, which will then give you rewards such as premium battle passes, rare candy XL, and encounters with Totodile and its evolutions, and also backgrounds.
Speaking of backgrounds, there is a special background timed research which will continue for the week after the Community Day Classic has been completed. You'll get some background encounters with that, just more things to fill up your storage. And it is worth noting, for the week following the Community Day Classic, you can still get Hydro Cannon on your free alligator if you want.
Yes, your event bonuses for this one are, it's the weakest bonus of all. 1 quarter egg hatch distance when eggs are placed in incubators during the event.
The modules will activate for 3 whole hours.
As will incense, excluding your daily adventure incense.
And yes, Marky, I can see you just making this point. 5 snapshots for the Community Day.
There will be field research tasks available by spinning Pokestops, and that will give you the usual rewards of Great Balls, Ultra Balls, Stardust, and encounters with Totodile.
And quickly wrapping up, showcases will exist over the course of the weekend for Totodile. There are some event bundles in the shop if you so fancy that. And of course, the web store is trying to get your money. That's about it.
That is about it, and I think that was about a minute.
Hopefully so in the edit, but there's been a lot of good bits and pieces here, but I think, shall we finish on the strongest note of any of our shows? It is time for
Go! Shinies of the week.
Okay, our first shiny of the week this week, Whitfield, is Stephen McVeigh at Incense Podcasts. Got Drillbur and Moltres on the daily incense. Hatched a shiny Wynaut after hatching 6 others, and got Fuecoco off the research whilst listening to last week's podcast. And literally, shiny Drillbur, which I'm guessing, I can't see if it's a Gmax one or not. Shiny Galarian Moltres, GG's on that one. Literally. Shiny Wynaut and a shiny Fuecoco, all literally on the same day. That is just epic. GG's.
I have to give a shout out to Chicken Chaser.
Chicken Chaser, not heard from him for a while.
This has been posted in the Shinies of the Week channel, and he got it from Kiwi Steve's raid. And that man, I tell you, was dishing out some good luck when it was the tour events. So he got himself a Shundo Kuro, but it's got the Pasadena tag. So this was caught during the course of LA Unova Tour, which is fantastic. And
that is awesome.
Kiwi Steve, I owe you about 1 million beers as well.
That is awesome. Next up, we've got B. Jerry. Thank you for the shiny Siglith, by the way. I hope you're enjoying your Boufflant. B. Jerry, 4 days ago, posted catching up on at Incense Podcast, episode 210, and found a home spawn. Hashtag Shines Week, first Black Olive. And he decks the shiny Smoliv.
Fantastic.
Awesome stuff. GG's.
We love the Smoliv. I'm sticking on the Shundo trend with this one because this was posted when Fuecoco Community Day was going on. Shout out to Spindiana in the Discord, the Flex It Good channel. Won the Com Day, as far as I'm concerned. You can't do better than this. It's a Shundo Fuecoco with the background.
Yes. Yep. That is definitely the winner.
The new season background for Might Mastery, actually
amazing.
Beautiful. It's
really
so
good.
much better than Dual Destiny.
Yeah.
So, Spindiana, I know you're in the chat. Huge congrats. I am nothing but jealous right now.
Congratulations. My last one this week is from Furby Andrew. This one actually is about a week old, but I still think it's worth shouting out. Very happy with this one. Hashtag Pokemon Go, hashtag Shiny Pokemon, hashtag Shinies of the Week. And Andrew got, I love this one, the Shiny Clauncher.
Really nice shiny.
I still need that. GG's, Andrew.
For my final pick of hashtag Shinies of the Week, sticking in Discord, shout out to Tony of Pride, who's got 2 banging catches here. So the first is a shiny Dynamax. That's right, the Shinamax Beldum from the Dynamax battles, which is fantastic. And then just to top it off, one of the few lucky people when it came to the recent Charcadet event, a Hundo Charcadet was hatched.
Oh, nice.
And that was actually hatched on Fuecoco Community Day itself. So awesome Hundo hatch to get. So congrats on both of your wins on that one.
Yeah, congrats. GG's.
That is actually about wrapping up episode 214 for you all. Yes, that's right. There was no poll because we did something different for getting to know you, and the turtle couldn't muster it, I'm afraid. Couldn't manage it. But it is worth, of course, saying thank you very much for sticking with us for 214. We hope you enjoyed this show. And if you did, make sure that you give us a 5-star review.
Gold member.
If you could. You've come a bit too soon there, Vasa.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
So, 5-star review would be fantastic and enormously helpful, but rate us what you think we are worth in your ears. And of course, make sure you hit that follow plus or subscribe button so we're automatically downloaded to your podcast platform of choice, and you'll never miss an episode, just like the horse never misses a week. No, I guess we never miss a week. There's always a show for you to listen to on a Sunday, so don't miss out. Of course, you can follow us across our socials. We listed them endlessly at the intro of the show. Get involved with the community bits and pieces that we do. Join our campfire. Join our Discord using our Patreon if you want to. And we would like to say, of course, an enormous thank you to every single person who is on the bronze, the silver, or the member tiers. Thank you very much, every single one of you who takes your support that much further with this podcast and really does back us, because it's enormously helpful in so very many ways. And we don't take that sort of support lightly, as it were. So we really do appreciate every single one of you. It's become customary that we're going to read out the wonderful silver tier members as well as the gold in a moment. So first up, we've got KLXVI, Del Hazard, Spindiana, Laurie Beck, Steve in Norway, CC is Mad, McFloof, Saul Halberfield, Lizzie George, Edinburgh 666. My man, I'm just going to stick with that. Neonet, Ellen Rushton, James Alexander, Northern Soph, Tom Cattle, Charlie Todd, Robert Wilson, Miss Summer of 69, Malcolm Grinter, Geordie Castell, and the Hot Weasel. Thank you very much to all of you, and it was lovely to have some of you jumping in the chat with us in the stream on this one, sort of like the special open show for Silver Tier peeps too. Lovely to have you on board. But of course, a special shout out to the
Gold member, who
are JB, Clifford Mert, Kerry and Zachary, Barside 2, Mandy Croft, Mr. Mossam, Mufti and Twiggy25. Thank you so very much for being gold, for being gold Spandu, and taking your support to the top tier and sticking with us every single week. We love it when you guys jump into the show. You're able to get involved with the chats and make us laugh or crease or whatever. It's always amazing to have you on board with us. And final thanks go to our dual admin team, the Crown Sword and Crown Shield.
You'll have to decide which is which.
Which is which is entirely up to you. But we have Hermes Ninja and I Am Pyrrhus. Sue and Francesco, thank you very much for all that you do with
Actually,
the podcast and help
I
us
can
out.
say, based on our time in LA, Francesco prefers to be called a minion.
Minions.
Minions assemble!
I mean, that's going to about wrap it up for episode 214. So we'll be back. Hopefully, Mark will not be sounding like an array of different animal sound effects. Hang on. What, Marky?
I think he said good news.
Yeah, what? I got
What?
that. Is one of us going to have to do it instead, I think?
I think so.
Oh, take the first one, Vasso. Go for it.
Okay. Spotlight Hour reminder for next week. Yes, we're doing these out of order. Tuesday next week is Shelder. Okay. With 2 times dust.
That's a banging Spotlight Hour. No wonder he was squeaking away.
To be fair, Shelder's a great shiny. It's just one that just always seems to happen.
Give me some orange shell action. Anyway, more good news.
What?
Don't forget, as Mark would possibly say, Tapu Koko is radar.
And finally, we've got the last piece of good news.
What?
Well, actually, it's not that good news, but our counterparts over at Load Up, Ken would think this one is. Max Monday is D-Max Chansey.
D-Max Chansey.
D-Max Chansey. So actually, that's not too bad, maybe. I don't know, can we spin it? No, probably not.
Well, on that Pescator Ken shell, we'll hopefully see you all next week with even more animal sound effects.
I choose you!